Speaking of confusion, I am going to take a brief detour just because I feel like this is a good enough story to tell. So, the last episode we recorded was prior to Jesse's birthday.
It was.
So, this week we have a story involving nighttime confusion. We were staying in an Airbnb
Oh gosh.
for Jesse's birthday, and we went to bed fairly late the last night because Jesse and I hadn't had any time to be together, just the two of us. And we heard some sort of shower going off in the Airbnb. It was a fairly large house.
Yeah, we were staying in like the ground floor, even though it was up some steps, like a small apartment. And then it wasn't a large house that we were staying in, but there were other apartments behind it, above us.
Yeah.
So we just figured, oh, there's people staying above us. They must be getting up early to go to work or something, because it was a Sunday night going into Monday. And I don't know, it was strange that it was kind of the middle of the night, someone getting up to take a shower, but we also just figured, whatever, that's what these people do here.
Yeah. So about 45 minutes later, we were awoken. Well, we were awoken in two separate ways. I was awoken by the ceiling falling on me.
Yeah.
Because it had turned out that the room immediately next to us, which was marked as private no entry, was where the water boiler was.
Yeah.
And that shower was, in fact, a blown pipe spraying above our heads.
Yeah.
So while I was woken up by the ceiling falling on me, Jesse was woken up by the sight of the ceiling falling on me.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't a great way to wake up. We had this beautiful time together. I had just turned 30, entering a new decade. And then the first thing I see in my new year is my boyfriend's face getting crushed by the ceiling. Luckily, it was a shitty ceiling.
Yeah.
It was like foam and those tile, sort of like the push-up tile ceilings.
Yeah.
So it didn't hurt you at all.
No. But we got up. So waking up in true confusion.
Yeah.
And just wet and very,
Yeah.
very strange. Got up, there's 2 inches of standing water in the entirety of the little apartment that we were staying in. We didn't really know what to do, called the Airbnb people, they weren't answering.
Yeah, it was 5:30 in the morning or
Yeah.
something. Of course they weren't answering.
We knocked on the door of one of the permanent tenants.
Yeah, which we thought was maybe the Airbnb host. Turns out it was just a tenant.
Yeah. And fortunately, they answered after a little bit. They were very confused. And they were able to get in touch with the landlord and find a set of keys that enabled them to turn off the water. I mean, at that point, it wasn't really anything to us. We couldn't stay there anymore.
Yeah, we had to get out of there. But it was clear that, while the tenant was down there with us on the phone with the landlord, I could kind of tell that the landlord maybe was like, it's fine, I'm out of town, just like, why are you calling me so early in the morning? And that was kind of the impression I got.
Yeah.
And then as she was on the phone, another piece of the ceiling fell.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is serious. She needs to know. She needs to fix this. This is a big deal. I'm like freaking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got ourselves out of there. No one was hurt. Mike's computer was a fear because that had been on the floor. But seems like it's okay.
Yeah.
We waited a week, let it dry out, and then turned it on, and it turned on, so that's good.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully they fix their apartment. There's no hard feelings. It's not like anyone plans for that. Otherwise, the Airbnb was in really nice shape. It didn't seem like there was any sort of like bad maintenance. It just seemed like one of those freak things that happens.
It looked like a poor soldering job on the water boiler pipe for whatever reason.
Oh, that's true. There was.
But I would be hard pressed to believe that was their maintenance. It's probably somebody they hired. But yeah, and then we couldn't stay there because the bed was doused in water.
And ceiling.
And ceiling was gone. And so Jesse drove us home at 6:15 in the morning after having only slept for like 2 hours.
Yeah, if that.
2 hours, maybe even generous. She was very good. I would have not been able to stay awake. So
you weren't able to stay awake.
I kept awake.
You were not, your head kept falling.
Yes,
It was very cute.
but out of solidarity, I
No,
stayed
you
awake.
did. It was nice. You stayed awake. I don't know. It was one of those things. I keep cutting to the end of the episode. We want to talk about something we've been watching lately, but this sort of relates in a way. I feel like it was one of those moments where it was just like, okay, I have a job to do. My body does not feel up to this. I don't want to drive us home, but I just need to like power up and make it happen.
Yeah.
And I somehow was able to focus, and I felt kind of fine until I parked the car. And like literally as soon as I parked the car, my battery drained and I needed to go to bed. But then we were home.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was an exciting birthday. It was a great first moment of my 30th year. I was going to say my 30th decade. That's incorrect. My third decade of life.
Yeah. So
it was good.
that's just related to the idea of getting up early in the morning.
Yes.
We'll see how many more
Yes.
diversions we have, but I felt like that was interesting enough to divert.
Sure.